Hi everyone, and you're welcome to part 3 of paystack integration using PHP, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And in this part, we're going to be creating the success.php part of the application, which is actually what we started the other day. And if you're wondering where the part 1 and part 2 of this application is, you can check the description box of this video so that you can find links to watching the first and the second video of this series. I'm going to include links that will lead you to those videos. So let us take a look at the application and see how it actually led us to the success.php page one more time. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So this is the application. What we're going to do right now is just perform one more test and see how is it that it leads us to the success.php. So right now let's go ahead and test the application once more. Let's say Chidi. And the email can be orachidi@gmail.com, and the phone number can be, let's just go ahead and enter just any phone number, and then you click buy. That should bring you to this place. Then you click with the email that you just added. You have to just click on proceed, and hopefully that should bring up a paystack pop-up for payments. Okay, that's great. And as you can see, the email has been passed on to this form. You guys probably have been seeing that. So you select one of these cards that we have right here. For instance, I'm going to just select the first one and click on pay. And what I want you to notice now is that it redirects us to the page, the success.php page. And that's the page that I want us to work on right now with whatever transaction code that generates automatically from paystack. So that is actually what it is. So the next thing that we're going to do right now is that I'm going to take you to the development environment and see how we can work on this particular page right now. Okay. So let us head on to the development environment. So you fire up your favorite editor. And we have actually dealt with it. I'm going to just go ahead and open the success.php, and as you guys can see, it is completely blank right now. So to start working on it, let me just copy our index.php. I'm going to just copy this and then paste that in the success.php page right now. And I'll go ahead and change the title. I'm going to just call this success. And yeah, so then I'll get rid of whatever content that we have in this place. I want to get rid of the contents so that we can start afresh. So I only have this container in the success.php page. So let's go ahead and see what we can do in this page. Alright, so in this page we're going to just enter a h2 attribute right here, or tag. Then we can just say success, your payments went through. Okay, you can just go ahead and close the h2 right there. You can basically enter anything you want to enter here. For instance, we can proceed to saying that we can say something like you can download your ebook by clicking on the download button below, which we have not actually included, but we're going to include a download button later. Alright, so you can basically enter anything you want to enter on this particular place. So the next thing that we want to do right now is to create a table, and to do that we can first of all create the table tags. I'm going to open and close the table tag right now. So in between these table tags we can just create our table row like this, open and close table row, and in between the table row, let me just indent this. I think it's necessary we should indent that. And then in between these table rows, we can go ahead and create a table head, th. th for the table head, and we can go ahead and enter something like let's say summary, because we intend to use this page as a summary to the people that are buying or paying for our ebook. So we can just say th to close that tag. Then on the next line right here, that means going out of this first table row, we can create another table row. We say tr. So we say tr, open and close tr, that's table row. And in between this tr, we should go ahead and create our table data, that's td, and of course should be open and close td. So I'm going to just say td, the forward slash right there. So, but in between this table data, I'm going to first of all include the first name, colon, and I will type statically the name of the person that just purchased the book. Let us say Aura, that we just experimented with, Aura Chidi. So I'm going to just include Aura as the first name right there, and I'll copy this table row and paste that on the next line, and I'm going to change this to last name, and his last name was Chidi. So on the next line, I guess I have to just paste this a couple more times. I think we'll have like 6 more lines to paste right there. So I'm going to say I'm going to just paste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to scroll up right now and start editing them. This one is for the email, and the email, I think it was Aura Chidi, and these things, it doesn't really matter for now because I'm going to dynamically change them. They are going to be coming in as the person typed them in. So I'm going to just statically do whatever I feel like is the right thing right now. So at gmail.com, let us assume that that is his email. Then the last thing there, the next thing is the phone number. So I'll go ahead and say phone, and in this place I'm going to just go ahead and enter just any phone number right now. And on the next line should be the price, I think. Yeah, the price of the product that he purchased. So the price was 1,500 naira right there. And on the next line it was the product name. So I'm going to just say product name, and the product name was called I think it was Savvy ebook. Alright, and then on the next line, is the reference. So I'm going to just say reference. Yeah, reference or reference code. You can just say reference code, and we'll go ahead and enter the reference code. So I'm going to just enter anything. Later, these things I'm entering will be dynamically generated. Okay, and then the last one is going to be the download button, which I'm going to just include right now. I'm going to just say href equal to, and we can just enter a dummy link right there, close that out, and just say download. You can just say download now, and we should close the link right there, and just like that, that's the download link. Go ahead and save that. So just like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at that in our browser and see how it looks. And this is just how it will look. It looks ugly, but we're going to do something to it right now within the CSS. So let's go back to the development environment and do justice to the CSS. So once you get in, just open the CSS folder, the CSS file. So I'm going to just open mine right now, and let's type out the following CSS. Okay, so down here, So within the CSS down here, I'm going to just say table. I just want to start the table right now. So I'm going to just say table, and I'll say border dash collapse. We have to give you collapse, and the next line, and then I'm going to just say width on the next line, and I'm going to just say 100% to make the table responsive. Then the next one is going to be border, and I'm going to set the border to 2 pixel solid red, just like that. And then I'll jump out of that curly brace, and I'm going to do something like, I'm going to just say th, td, that's the table header and then the table data. I'm going to go ahead and start that right now. And so I'm just going to say text align. I'm going to set that text align to center, and no, not left. Let's align that to left, not center, but left. Okay. Then on the next line, we're going to just say, padding, and I'll set the padding to 8 pixels, like that. And that is it for the table header and then table data. So on the next line, I'm going to just work on the table row and the nth child. I'm going to just say nth dash child into bracket. I'll say even, and out of that bracket, I'm going to just set a curly brace right now. And within this place, I'm going to just say background. I want to set the background of this to, I want to just use a hexadecimal color F2, F2, F2. That's the color I want to use. Then I'll terminate that line, and then on the next line, I'll jump out of that curly brace. So once I jump out of that curly braces, I don't need to add any other thing to that one. So I'm going to just start the th alone right now. So th, the curly brace is this way, and I'm going to just give it a background of let's say this hexadecimal color or CAF50. That's the color I want to use. I'll just go ahead and terminate that line, and it seems that there is an error right here. Okay, yeah, I can see it. This second column should not be there. Alright. Then on the next line, I'm going to just say color, and I'll give the color to be white. You can use a hexadecimal or the color common name. So for instance, if I want to use a hexadecimal, I'm going to just say hash F1 FF into 3 or into 6. Any of them can work. So let's just go ahead and use this one. So that's actually the hexadecimal color for white, as it is right now. So I think we're going to stop in this place for the styling of that table, and then let's go and check how it looks in the browser now. So let's go ahead and refresh this page, and this is how it should look. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and then proceed with some other things that we need to do. Alright, so we are going to go back to the development environment now and see how is it that we are going to be bringing in all this data dynamically as the person types them in the first page. Okay, just as the payment actually goes through successfully, these things should be generated upon successful payment. So let's go back to our coding right now, and we should go to success. I think we should actually close out the CSS. I don't think we are going to ever need to add anything to this anymore, so I'm closing that right now. And then in your success.php page, let's scroll up to the top, and within this page, using the top of this page, we're going to start writing our PHP right now. So let me go ahead and open PHP tag right there and close the tag. So right now I want you guys to remember that we have let me go back to the success. We have actually the person's first name, last name, email, phone number, and all the person's data within this page called the pay.php. That's the place that the person made payment, and we'll have them in session, which we can actually, if you look at this place, that is what it is. You have them in session. So to pass them to the next page, you need to actually start a session on that page that you want to make use of all these things. Okay, so let's go back to the success.php page right now, and the first thing that we need to do right now is to go ahead and start a session. So to do that, you can just say start, a session underscore start, not start really, then curly braces like this. So with that line alone, you've actually succeeded in creating a session or starting a session. Now we can actually start grabbing the sessions that we have on this pay.php page. We can start grabbing these sessions and putting them in variables in this success page right now. But there is something I want to do. I want to perform a check so that anytime someone tries to access this success.php page, let me open that up, and then this particular transaction code is not set, I want it to redirect the person back to the registration page or the index page. Okay, so I'm going to just check to be sure that this thing actually contains, this variable contains this particular transaction code. If it is empty, I want you to do not open this page. I want you to redirect the person back to the index page so that the person can make a proper payment. Because what that means is that if anyone is coming into this page and this particular transaction code is not set, it means that the person did not pay. The person is trying to come in through the back door. So what I'm going to do right now is to use if statement to check if this is ready. If it is not actually active, it will take the person back to the payment page. So to do that right now, I'm going to just use if statement. So I'm going to just say if and remember that we have that variable in the URL. So to work with the URL in PHP, so what we need to do is to use a super global variable called $_get, and with a not curly but square bracket and quotation, we can just go ahead and enter the variable. So we call this successfully paid. I think that's what we'll call it. Okay, yeah, then out of this place I'm going to just include the curly brace, and we can go ahead and do whatever that I want to do right now. So but what I normally do is that with what I have right here, I'm just checking for the success first, but I love checking for the error first before moving on to the success. So to change that to checking the error first, I'm going to enter an exclamation mark right here in this place just before the $. I'm going to just say exclamation. This exclamation means if not. So it means if not successful, if the person did not successfully paid, what is going to happen right now? So what I'm going to do right now is to just go ahead and redirect the person to the index page. So to do that in PHP, we're going to just use a function called header, and in this bracket with a quotation, it can be single or, and within that quotation right there, you can just say location, and you go ahead and then say index.php, which is the page that we want to redirect the person to, and you terminate the line. Down here you can just type exit, and then you terminate the line too. Again, let me just explain this. What this means is that if let me go to the browser, if this particular code is not found within the URL, then you should redirect the person back to the home page of this particular application. That is what this line is doing. So if that particular code does not exist, I will now move the person back to the index page, which I know that the index page is the place where the person will start the registration or the process of buying the book afresh. Okay, so next is that what if the code actually exists in the URL? So if it exists in the URL, what do you want to do? You want to take the person, you want to proceed with the processing of the payment. So we're going to just say else here, and so on the else part right here, what it means is that the variable or the transaction code actually exists. So what I'm going to do right now is to put that transaction code in a variable. So to do that, I'm going to just set a variable and say reference and I'm going to go ahead and put it in a variable. I'm going to use this code right now, copy that and paste that right there. So I'm going to just terminate this line. So this line means if that code actually exists, grab the code. With this line, you grab the code and put it in this variable for the reference. We're going to make use of it later. Okay. All right. So out of this curly braces, we know we have gotten the reference code. So now that we have actually grabbed this reference code, the next thing that we should start doing right now is to start collecting the person's data into variables, the data that are actually coming in through the session. So to do that, we can just put them in regular variables. So I'm going to just say first name underscore name, and I'm going to just set that to a session super global variable, which is this session, like that, and then in a square bracket and in a double quotation or single quotation, you can use whatever you want to use. So I'm going to just say first underscore name, and I'll go ahead and terminate this line, and I'll copy this line for those other sessions or variables. So this second one is for the last name, so I'm going to just say last name, and in this place I'm going to just say last name LA, and then on the next line I'm going to just bring in the phone. So I'm going to just say the phone, and in this within the curly braces, I mean the square brackets, I'm going to just say phone. Then the next one is the email. So I'll go ahead and bring in the email right now, and then within the bracket I'll go ahead and enter the email index. Then on this line we are going to just say amount, which is for the price, and within this place we're going to just say price. And then on the next line is for what? I think that's the product name. So we'll go ahead and say product, and in this place we can go ahead and say product name too. And I think I misspelled product right here, so be sure that you correct that. Yeah, product should be spelled like this. Alright, so now that we actually have all the variables in place, the next thing that we need to do now is to make sure that let me show you that again, that these things, this data, this person's data, first name, last name, email, and the likes are actually coming in dynamically. Remember that we used static data in this place. So we'll go back to the development environment right now and scroll down to that table part and start changing those things to the dynamic data that the person actually typed in. So in this place I'm going to just say PHP, I want to just echo out the person's first name. I want to just say echo first name, and I'll close that right there, the PHP code. And if you're wondering where this first name is coming from, it's actually those variables that we just set up here now. Look at it. I'm going to be making use of all this variable right now down there. So on the next line I'm going to just copy this to speed things up. I'm going to just paste this in right here, and I'll change this to last name LA. Then on the next line, which is for the email, I want to just change this variable to email. That will bring in the email automatically, email. Then on the next one is for the phone, so I'll change this variable to phone. Yes. Then for the price, I want to just change that to, I think we'll call it amount. Let's check that to be sure. Yeah, we called it amount. Look at it right here. Okay, so for the last one right now, the last one is what? Product name. So we're going to just go ahead, paste that in, and then change that to product name, just like that. And then the last one is the reference. So I'm going to just go ahead and paste that in and just say reference, like that. Save that. So now that we have actually entered those things to be coming in dynamically, what we need to do next is just, let's go and try to see whether what we have just done is working. So to do that, let's go back to the browser. So right now on this page, I want us to first of all test if this transaction ID was not actually set. That means the person did not successfully make payments. Let's take this away right now. And then if we refresh this page now, this should take us back to the home page. That's the index page. Meaning that the person came in through to this page through the back door. It means that the person have not paid. So it will take the person back to the index where the person will have to start the payment process proper. So let me go ahead and refresh this page right now and see what is going to happen. As you can see, it just redirected us back to the home page. That means that the person did not actually make payments and he's just showing up in that place. Maybe he found out the URL to that page and was trying to manipulate the system. So what we're going to do, even if you try right now to maybe type the page direct, like saying success.php, and you press enter, it still will not allow you to go to that success.php page. It is only when the transaction ID or the transaction code, that reference code, is actually set on the URL that page can open. Okay, so now let's go ahead and then try this. Let us just say something like Ken for the first name, then the last name can be Ken, and then the email can be maybe ken@gmail.com, and the phone number can just be, and then you click on buy, and as you can see, Ken has been passed on to this page, and we'll click on proceed. Okay, then we'll select one of the payment card and click on pay 1,500 naira. Alright, as you can see, those data that I just entered in has been automatically generated. Okay, as you can see, and then with the reference code that is on the URL, look at what is on the URL here. It's the same thing with what is here. You saw how we grabbed that right now. Alright, so that was successful. So the next thing that we're going to do right now is to go ahead and see how is it that we can insert all the data that are on this table right now and put it in our own database. Talking about implementing our own backend, our own database right now, so we can actually see what success that we are making. So let's go back to the development environment now. So let's scroll up to the top of this page, not the top, just below this variable that we just created. So I'm going to just put a comment right here and just say insert into database. Okay, so down here we're going to write the code that is going to help us insert this data into the database. But before we do that, we need to create our database and then create the table that this is going to use. So to do that, we need to go back to the browser right now. You can write a code that will actually insert that. Create your database name and then create the tables for you. But I don't want to do that in this episode. What I want to do right now is to go to my browser and use the PHP my admin GUI interface. So I'm going to just say, so to create the new database right now, once you are on this page, you need to just click on databases and go ahead and give it a database name right now. So in our own case, I'm going to just call this payment and hit create. And as you can see, the database has been created. So I'm going to go ahead and create the table right now. So to create the table right now, we're going to need I think we're going to need nine columns. So I'm going to just call it, give it a table name of, let me just call this stack. You can call it anything you like. Then hit, remember that the number of columns is just 9. And the table name is just a stack. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on go. And that has been created. So I'm going to go ahead now and fill this form out. So the first one is going to be ID, and I'm going to leave it to be int. Then the length is just 11, and you can scroll to the right. Make sure you check this place that says the auto increment. Put a check mark here, and then you should go ahead and click on go to make it a primary. So just go ahead and click go. Okay, then on the next line is going to be the first name. I'm going to do first underscore name, and that is going to be a voucher or varchar, I mean to say. Then it's going to be just 200 characters, and yeah. So the next line is going to be last name, and this is going to be a varchar again, and the length can be 200. Then the next one is going to just be phone. Then I'm going to also leave it at varchar, and go ahead, just make it something like 100. Then on the next line is just for the email, so I'm going to just say email and make it a varchar again, and this should be, let's say 100, or let us just, to be on the safer side, let's just say 200. And you can actually set all these things to their max. That's 255. The next one is the product name, and I'm going to just set that again to varchar 200. Then the next one is just for the price. We can go ahead and set, you can leave that to int and set it to a max of 11. Then the next one is going to be the reference, and we can set this reference to just int, and we can also enter 11 right there. So finally it's going to be for the date. So I'm going to just say created on underscore on, just for the date. I'm going to set this to, I'm going to just go ahead and set that to date time, and under this place I'm going to just set that to current timestamp. With that, the upon registration or upon successful payment, the date is going to be inserted automatically for us. The right date is going to be automatically inserted. So we scroll down and click on save. Okay, so the table has been successfully created, as you can see. So we have a table with a 9 column right now. So the next thing that we're going to do right now is to go back to our development environment and see how is it that we can populate this table with the data that are coming in. So let's go back to the development environment right now. So now that we've succeeded in creating the database, the next thing that we need to do right now is to connect to the database. And to do that, we're going to use a PDO connection for that. And the reason for that is because that's actually the most secure way of connecting to the database these days. You can actually use MySQLi, and it's actually secure, but the most secured one is this particular PDO. And to do that right now, you could actually do the connection within this page, but I'm going to just create a new file for the connection. Okay, that way anytime you want to use that particular connection on another page, you don't have to have the same code sitting on different pages. So to do that now, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to just call that db.php, and I'll go ahead and open that up. Alright, so on the db.php, let's go ahead and throw in our PHP tag right there, and we'll go ahead and close the tag right there. And within this PHP tag, let's go ahead and set the variables for the database connection that we just created. So the first variable that I want to set right now is the host. So I'm going to just say host. I'm going to set that to localhost. I'll terminate that line, and then on the next line I'm going to just set the username. So I'll set the variable username and set it to root. That's my username. And then for the password, I'm going to just set the variable for the password and then set that to empty strings. I don't have a password in my PHP my admin, so I'm going to just set that to empty string. And if you have a password set for your own, you go ahead and set your password, even the username. So if you have your username set to anything else, you have to just enter it right there. So on the next line, I'm going to just bring in my database name. So I'm going to just say DB name. I'll set that to the database name that we just created. We'll call it a payment. So just like that. Then on the next line right now, so I'm going to just set let me just enter a comment right here. Set the data source. Then for the data source name, I'm going to just set a variable right now. I'm going to call that a data source. That's DSN equal to, now set it to the driver that we're using, which is MySQL. So I'm going to just say MySQL like this. Then I'll say colon, and I'll bring in the host name just like that. Then I'll set it equal to the particular this host name that we're using right now. I'm going to just go ahead right now and concatenate onto it. So I'm going to just put a dot, and that means concatenation, and I'll say host. So with that, I've just concatenated this particular local host name, which is the host that we're using. Then I'll concatenate again, and then another quotation, and then I'm going to actually introduce a semicolon, which actually serves as a separator in this form. So I'm just trying to separate the host name from the database name, which I have not entered. So the next thing to do right now is to go ahead within this place and enter the DB. You just say DB name. So I'm going to just go ahead and set this DB name to the variable that it actually comes with. So the variable that we have up here is just DB. So I'm going to just copy that right now and go ahead. I'll concatenate onto that particular variable with a dot. I'll paste it right there, and I can finally go ahead to terminate this line. Okay, that's actually how to set the DSN for this kind of a connection. Then on the next line, let's go ahead and create what we call the PHP PDO instance. So I'm going to just add a variable. A comment right here. I'm going to just say creating the PDO instance. Then to create that instance, you are going to just set a variable. We should just say PDO equal to, you can actually use any variable name that you want to use. I'm going to set that to new PDO, and within this bracket, so I'm going to just go ahead and pass in this DSN, which is actually hosting the host name and the DB name right there. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that right in, and I'll separate that with a comma, and then I'll go ahead and bring in the password and then the username. So let's first of all bring in the username. I'm going to just say username, comma, and the third parameter is the password. So I'm going to just say password like that, and I can go ahead and terminate this line. Then on the next line, I'm going to just go ahead and turn on the PDO error reporting mode, so that if anything goes wrong with my query, it can go ahead and report that to me. And to do that, I'm going to just pick this variable PDO, and I'm going to set that to, I'm going to just say set attribute, and with that method I can just pass in So I'm going to just pass in PDO double colon ATTR underscore ERR mode, that is error mode, comma, and I can just say again the third parameter will be PDO double colon ERR mode underscore exception, and then I'll go ahead and terminate. So with that line alone, I've just turned on the error reporting of PDO. So on the next line, what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and set the format to which I want to actually be grabbing the data. So to do that, I just want to set it to object. So I'm going to just say PDO. I'm going to set that to, it's actually similar to what we have here. So let me just copy this line and paste it right there. And I'm going to just go ahead and set that to PDO double colon, I'm going to just say ATTR underscore default underscore fetch underscore mode, and then the next parameter is just going to be PDO double colon fetch underscore obj. So what that line is going to do for me is that it's going to help me fetch all the data in form of objects. Okay, that's just what this line is going to do for me. So, and that's it for connection to the database using a PDO. What I'm going to do right now is just save this page and then go ahead and include it on other pages. So for instance, I'm going to use it on this page. So at the top, very top here, I'm going to just include this particular file, and to do that we can use a function in PHP or a method. We call that include underscore once, and within this bracket and this quotation, I'm going to just include this file. So I'm going to just call it db.php and terminate that line and save. So that means I've actually included this file in this place. So everything that is in this place, this file, this particular file right now, are now present in this place. So I can make use of them within this success.php page. So the next thing that we want to do right now is to go ahead and prepare our insert query. And to do that, we can just set a variable. We say SQL, and we set that to this quotation mark, and then we can go ahead and enter our insert queries right here. So we say insert into the table name, we'll call it a stack, and in this kind of bracket we'll go ahead and then enter the table rows within this place right now. So I think that we have a first name, first underscore name, that's what we'll call it that time. The next one is going to be last underscore name, and after that, and after last name we'll have a phone, and after phone we also have an email. We also have a price, or I mean a product name. So we'll say product underscore name, comma, and we also have a, I think, price, and finally we have a reference. And I believe that you guys actually know where I'm getting all these things from. Those are the columns we created in our database. Okay, so these are the columns. I'm just trying to enter to that place. So just enter them accordingly, and then in the next, within that line, we can actually come down to the next line and say, let us just say values, and we open a bracket, and then within the values we're going to go ahead right now to enter all these variables right here. So we're going to go ahead and enter them. Ctrl V, and the syntax to entering these variables has to be, you have to have a colon in the front like this. So this is it, colon first name, comma, then colon last name, last underscore name, comma, colon phone, comma, colon email, comma, colon amount. No, it shouldn't be amount, colon product name first, I think, according to what I have up here. So it's going to be just a colon. It's going to just be colon product name, product underscore name, comma, then. So next one is going to be colon amount, comma, and finally it's going to be colon reference, like that. And as I can see, before we proceed, I made a mistake in spelling this email right here, so I have to go ahead and correct that immediately before we proceed. Okay, alright, so we can go ahead and terminate this line. So the next thing that I would like to do right now is to go ahead and then prepare our inserts. And to prepare that using the prepare method, I like to put it in an if statement. So on the next line, right, I'm going to just say if, and I'll set a variable stmt for statement, and is equal to PDO, and I'm going to just use this arrow, and I'll say prepare. I'll use this method called prepare, then in brackets like that. And I'll go ahead, and I don't know whether you guys understand why I'm using PDO right here. This PDO that I'm using right here is actually coming from the db.php that we created earlier, which is this particular variable right here. And because we have actually included that file with this line, so I can go ahead and make use of that particular PDO without having any problem. Okay, alright, so I'm gonna go ahead now, include these curly braces, and we can go ahead and do. So the next thing that I want to do right now is to go ahead and bind my parameters. So I'm going to just put a comment here and say bind parameters. Okay, so to bind the parameters, you can just make use of so I'm going to just go ahead and make use of this variable that I created up here, stmt. So to make use of that, I'm going to just say stmt with an arrow. And I'm going to just set that to this particular method, bind param, and in brackets I'm going to just go ahead to include this so in brackets I'm going to go ahead right now, and with this quotation I'll first of all bind my first name. So I'm going to just say first underscore name. Okay, remember this variable up here, these variables, that's the things that I want to bind right now. So I'm going to bind that variable. I'll bind it to the variable name, which is actually first name, first underscore name, and the third parameter that I'm going to add right now is, so the third parameter, or what you want to bind it as, is PDO double colon, and we're going to just say param underscore str. So we are just trying to bind it as a string right now. Alright, so just take a look at it. Okay, that's how to actually bind a parameter. So I've actually binded the first one. I'm going to do the same thing to all of these variables that we have right here, first name, phone number, email, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy this right now and copy and paste it a couple more times. So I'm going to just paste it and change this one to last name. I think that's the last one. Yeah, last last name. And I'm going to change this one also to last name. And on the next line, that should be for the phone number. So we'll go ahead and bind the phone. So I'll enter phone right here. And phone right here. And on the next line, that should be for the email. So we'll go ahead and bind the email right now. And against email, Then on the next one is going to be the products, I think. Okay, so the product name, right? So I'm going to just say products underscore name. Make sure you spell that right. Product underscore name. Then in this place, I'm going to also change that to product underscore name. Then on the next one is going to be the price. And I remember that the price was called amount, so I'm going to just go ahead and enter amount here. This is it, amount. So I'm going to correct that. That's amount, and I'm going to bind that against amount. And then on the next one is going to just be the reference. So I'm going to go ahead and type reference right there and bind it against a reference. Okay. All right. All right. So just take a look at it. Make sure you get it right. Okay. So if you have gotten that right now, the next thing that we're going to do right now is to go ahead and attempt to execute that. So I'm going to just put a comment here and say attempt to execute. So to actually execute that, we can go ahead and use if statement to do that. So if I say if, and I'm going to make use of this variable that we set up here. That's actually what we want to execute, because everything that we have in this place now had been saved into this particular STMT. Okay, so we have everything in that place. I'm going to go ahead and execute that now by saying I'm going to just say STMT, and I'm going to use a method called execute, just like that, and with a curly braces right now. Okay, so that is just the line that will execute the particular STMT. So the next thing that we want to do right now is that if you go ahead and execute this particular STMT, what do you want to do? You can actually do whatever you like, but what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and print out something like a success information telling the user that they actually made a successful payment. And to do that, I'm going to just use so now I just want to print out a kind of a success message to the user. So to do that, I'm going to just say echo, and then with the help of JavaScript, I'm going to just print a script right there. So I'm going to just say script, and then I will say alert into bracket, and then within this bracket I will just add a single quotation mark and go ahead and say whatever I want to say. I can say something like your payment went through, something of that nature, and I can go ahead and then close that particular script right here. This script, it needs a closing part, so I'm going to just copy that and then introduce a forward slash. Okay, notice that I introduced a forward slash to close it out right here. So down here, so outside of this double quotation, I will just terminate that line and then move on. Alright, so what do I want to do next? On the next line, I just want to prevent what we call a resubmission. So I'm going to just type in a comment right here. I'm just going to say prevent resubmission. And to do that, you can just say session underscore onset. Then you terminate that line. So with that line alone, you've actually prevented a resubmission of the session. But you can also take it further to say session if you want to destroy the session right now. So you can just say session underscore destroy to just destroy the session. This is actually very important So you have to do that also. These 2 lines will help you prevent resubmission of that particular form or whatever data that is being passed on to that page. So the next thing right now is that what if there are some errors that are actually hidden that we don't know about right now? So I'm going to just use what we'll call else. I'm going to just use an else part right here. I'm just going to include an else part and say within the else part I can just do something like, let me just use simple die function right here, and I can say something like sorry, something went wrong. But this should never happen. If the code was going to actually execute the right way, this particular error should never show up. Okay, but if there is an error that actually coming from maybe the SQL, this is actually the error that is going to show up. That's what I want to do with that line. And then finally, remember that this STMT that we have up here is still open even up to this place. So we can actually, even if we did not close it, nothing is not going to cause any problem, but I think it's a good practice to also close it. So to close that particular STMT right now, you can just say onset, and inside of this curly braces, you can just go ahead and pass in that STMT like that. So you have actually unset the STMT, and then finally we can go ahead and close the connection, close connection to the database. So to close the connection to the database, we can just say onset, and we can go ahead and pass in the database instance that we created before, which was PDO, just like that, and we'll go ahead and save this file. Alright, so just take a look at it, and we can actually go ahead and then give it a shot to see whether what we have just done is actually working or not. So be sure that this page is actually saved, and let's go back to our browser and test this out. So go ahead and then refresh this page. So let's go ahead and fill this form. Let's say I want to just fill it with just any name. I can just say Wale John, and I can just say W John @gmail.com, and the phone number can just be anything, and we'll go ahead and click on buy, click on proceed. Alright, so we'll go ahead and select the test guard that we want to use and click on pay, and hopefully that goes through. Alright, so that actually went through, but we have an error. So let's actually take a look at the error. So the error says PDO expects at least one parameter 0 given in line 20. Okay, so we're going to just take care of that right now. So let's go to line 20 and see what is wrong with it. So this is line 20. Okay. Alright, so the problem with it is that we didn't pass. It actually demands this particular SQL right here. So just go ahead and copy this SQL. Let me go ahead and copy that and then paste that right in. That's the parameter that it needs. So go ahead and save it, and then let's go and try the testing again. Let's go back to the index page again, and let's fill this form this time around with maybe we'll just call this Fred Finado, and the email could be something like a F Finado or Finado. Let's just use that. Say @gmail.com, and the phone number, and we click on a buy, click on proceed. Alright, select the test card that you want to use, go ahead and click pay. Alright, so we get success this time around. As you can see, that alert that we included, let me show you guys that talking about this particular line. Where is it? This line. Well, that means that it is actually working. So this is actually the alert you're seeing in that page right now is this particular line. Okay, so all we need to do is to just go ahead and click OK, and as you can see, it has actually generated the summary for us with all the data that we entered, as you can see. And then amazingly, the transaction code, which is what it will have in the URL right here, the same thing, it has also been picked and then placed in that place. So the next thing that we need to do right now is to now check our database whether this actually was inserted into our database or not. So let's go to my PHP MySQL and then click on the table name, which we'll call the stack. And here it is. So we have that inserted successfully. Fred Finado with the phone number, Finado@gmail, the product name, the price, and then the email. So that's actually how to implement your own backend. So what we're going to do next is to create the customers.php page, which we are actually going to come into this database and fetch whatever we have in this database and display it in our own backend. Okay, so that's the next thing that we're going to do. So I'll see you in the next one, and thank you for watching. And if you have any question, you can go ahead and ask me in the comment box below, and I'll go ahead and answer that. Thank you guys.